So in this hand, action folds over to Burke in the hijack, who looks down at 2 queens, and he makes it $40 to go. Dan calls just behind him with ace jack and folds over to me in the small blind, and I look down at king jack offsuit. Pretty bad hand, especially out of position, and I think a fold is probably most standard in this spot. But having some dead money in there in between the initial raiser and myself, and trying to mix it up a little bit for the stream, having a couple blockers to some premium holdings such as ace king and pocket kings, pocket jacks, I feel like a 3-bet isn't that bad. Not super out of line, I don't think. Not exactly sure if that's better than a fold, but pretty close, I think. So trying to mix it up for the stream, trying to play some hands, I go ahead and 3-bet it to $180. Folds back over to Mr. Burke, who decides on a flat call, and Dan gets out of the way. So we're going heads up to a flop here. Flop comes 10-4 deuce, all spades, which pretty good flop for the king jack with the second nut flush draw. But I decided to check it, having the king high flush draw. Happy to go into check call mode here and keep the pot somewhat small and see what develops with the second nut flush draw. I definitely don't want to get blown off the hand, putting in a bet and then facing a raise. Happy to keep the pot small at this point. Turn is an offsuit 4, and I think it's time to start turning my hand into a bluff here, which it is. And I go ahead and I bet $190. I'm just looking to try and win the pot post flop at this point with king high. So I put in the bet, $190, and Burke makes the call with the 2 queens and the queen high flush draw. River's a good one for us, 5 of spades. So we make the best hand, and we have the second nut flush. So now I'm just going for value mode. Now I'm going into value mode here, trying to get some value for my king high flush, hoping that Burke has a hand similar to what he has, perhaps an ace queen type hand, ace jack type hand with a smaller spade than I do. Just trying to get some value, trying to pick a size where I can get called from a worse spade. So I decided to bet at $370, somewhere around half pot. Seems appropriate. If I knew Burke's exact hand, I would have bet a little bit bigger. But just trying to keep as big of a calling range in there as I can. Don't want to go too big, and just going for a little bit of value there. So $370 bet is going to get called by the queen high flush for sure. More run bad for Burke in that situation. Situation worked out pretty well for us.
If we